So the Tamer meta is dead. I've been playing with what I believe to be the next best weapon for general rounds if you're interested in a LMG playstyle. The weapon you're seeing me using on screen now is called the Enduring Legacy, and this is a ultimate weapon that has some pretty insane buffs, a really solid stat sheet, almost better than Tamer in every single way, and it comes with a pretty powerful passive that gives a lot of Descendants some free power and very powerful towards fire-based Descendants, making it a perfect weapon for you to aim for if you're looking for the next big weapon to transition to beyond the Tamer. In this video, I'm going to show you how I build my Enduring Legacy, as well as a showcase for all the hard mode bosses, at least the ones that I can queue solo. And yeah, let's dive right on into this one. Alright, so we are over on the build section of this weapon, and I just want to quickly go over his stats and try to make a comparison to the Tamer, as this weapon has completely replaced my Tamer as my primary general rounds weapon. So I am using this primarily, but I do want to go over the stats and what it does so you guys have a better understanding of why this is so good. So first off, it has a base fire rate of 571. The Tamer has, I believe, 640, 630, somewhere around there. So in this regard, the Tamer is actually a better base weapon when it comes to the fire rate, and if I'm being honest, it is very noticeable when you're firing it. And as you can probably tell by the way that this weapon fires, it is pretty fast, pretty nice, good rate of fire. The aim is not too wobbly, or the recoil, the accuracy, it's pretty good. Now shooting the Enduring Legacy, the fire rate is definitely more noticeable and it's not as stable. So that's where the Tamer feels a lot better. So coming off of a fully leveled and min-max Tamer feels a little bit bad to come to the Enduring Legacy, I will say, but as you build into it, it feels much better. From a rounds per magazine, it has 15 more rounds per magazine, so if you are a non-glade character, you're going to get 15 more rounds out of your mental focus, so it is going to have a little bit more damage in that regard. For the reload time, it is 2.7, the Tamer is 2.6, so it is again a little bit worse, but this is negligible in my opinion. The base crit is 20% where the Tamer is 10, so you're already getting double from that, and then the base crit damage is 1.7, whereas the Tamer is 1.6, so you're getting a slightly higher crit damage. They have the same crush, and then this has better attribute status. The weak point is exactly the same, and then you have better accuracy, better aim shot accuracy, and you have more effective range compared to the Tamer. And for what it's worth, you actually have better move speed across the board than the Tamer, and you have a same sprint speed. So overall, as you can see from the base stats, this weapon is better in every way except for the fire rate, as well as a little bit of the reload time, which is pretty marginal. You probably won't notice this at all, but where the Tamer lacks is a unique ability in which the Enduring Legacy have, and it is called Craftsmanship. On hitting an enemy, increase status effect trigger rate corresponding to the element, fire, chill, electric, or toxic, and inflict the unique ability quenching to the target enemy. As you can see here, there's quite a few modifiers, but on hit you'll get an attribute trigger status rate increase. You get the quenching unique effect. What it does is has a 0.4 second duration. The max stack is actually 30, not 35. It goes up whenever you add. I actually have built 2 of these, so it is a little bit better. You get a base of -5 fire resistance, and then you get some more stacking of fire resistance per stack. And obviously this is going to keep stacking until you reach the 35. I'm assuming this is going to stop at 50 or something, and then you'll have a much better negative fire resistance. And then this scales actually by 1% every time you level it up. So by base it is 7% firearm attack, but with my upgrade it is 8, and this is obviously going to end at 11 or 12 firearm attack whenever it's completely leveled up. Now I know some people are going to say, well, fire is useless against Pyromaniac, and to some degree, yeah, it probably is, but you also get firearm attack for simply shooting a burned enemy, so you will be getting a benefit from it, and it does give him negative resistance. I don't know the math on it, I haven't tested it, and I'm not good enough to test it, but ultimately, regardless of if you're shooting a fire enemy, you still are going to get a firearm attack benefit that the Tamer otherwise wouldn't get. So obviously this is going to be much better on a fire Descendant, but regardless of if you're fire or not, you still get the benefits if you can set things on fire. And how I do this is very simple. I just have fire attack built into to the weapon itself, and I'm able to set things on fire pretty easy and get this buff. And I'll show you an example of this, and I'm going to quickly swap over to a higher fire rate just so it'll be a more practical example of what to expect. And as you can see, if we're looking at my base stats, we have 620,000 base DPS. We are kitted out. It comes with 2 polarity slots, by the way, the L slot or the R slot, and then I believe it was the crit or the 3 slot. And let me quickly show you the application of fire so you guys can see how easy it is to apply the fire. Let me go get some ammo actually, so be easier to see it. And it has 115, so he's already on fire, as you can see there. Already getting the fire stacks, so it's fairly easy to set things on fire. I'm not sure how practical it is against a fire mob because I can't really tell that they're on fire because I'm always just shooting anyway. But as you can see, it is fairly easy, chunky damage, and you can set things on fire pretty much through the entire time that you're shooting this weapon, meaning you pretty much get the buff as long as you're shooting at a target. It's pretty easy application. It's not really hard to do. A lot of extra damage, and it's really nice. Now, once again, this weapon has replaced my Tamer. I do not use Tamer anymore. I have no reason for the Tamer. That is entry-level general round weapon in my opinion, and this is going to be something that you could aim to transition to. There's a lot of great SMGs, but this is what I would transition to if I'm looking for more of a like LMG style that I've been playing already. But let's quickly go over how I'm modding this because it is a little bit different from my Tamer mod. So we do not invest any way, shape, or form into weak point. The reason why you invested into weak point for the Tamer was because, well, it was really terrible at crit and it was really terrible at weak point. So you just have to pick one or the other. It's just what it is. For this weapon, on the other hand, it is really good on crit. It has the same base crit as something like the Thunder Cage. So it's actually pretty nice. Because we have 115 rounds, we're going to be getting mental focus. Since we're going to be getting a lot of extra damage out of it, we're going to get 15 more shots out of it than the Tamer initially, unless you're a Glay, of course. And when you put this in, it's going to be a little bad if you don't have the fire rate, which I do use fire rate up. It has felt way better than the other fire rate things, so definitely something I would consider. But yeah, fire rate up is super nice here. Using action and reaction, this is almost mandatory on any general rounds weapon in my opinion. We have rifling reinforcement for the extra firearm attack. Better insight because this is a crit weapon and getting that crit rate is actually pretty valuable. We have concentration stabilization. Now this started with a R slot. You can in theory, you know, like not use R slot. You can get a different slot if you want, but I'm using this one because it actually fits really well. The recoil control is really nice. And the extra crit hit damage actually goes a long way. So this has actually been a pretty valuable slot because again, when you jump into it and you play it compared to the Tamer, you are going to notice a bit of a recoil kick, but you will get used to it, and this actually helped quite a bit. We obviously going to use concentration priority for the crit damage. It's going to make the reload a little bit annoying. You could do like a reload here if you want something like a whatever the reload one is that gives you crit damage. You can use that one, concentration reload concentration, whatever. But you can kind of do whatever you want. You can put like even weak point sight here. I may put weak point sight here for the last one. Anyway, we have better concentration for the crit damage because this is a crit weapon. And then we have Adventurer for the crit rate as well as the weak point damage because we do want a little bit. So, and this is like the only other crit thing I would get because I don't think Fatal Critical is as much crit as this. So that's why we're going into it. And then of course we have the fire rate up because I do feel like the 5% extra fire rate that you get versus having like, I believe it's 20 for the other things is way more valuable. And my DPS felt way higher when I used this one, especially considering that you want to have like stacks of fire being applied to them and keep that stack count up. This is better in my opinion to have more fire rate than having like 3% crit or something like that it adds. So yeah, really important in my opinion to have this one. This has been probably the most impactful mod in terms of making it feel good. But this is the build for the Enduring Legacy. Hopefully you guys like it. And there you have it guys. That is my Enduring Legacy build. This is a really unique weapon that feels pretty strong. Once again, if you have a fire descendant like Blair, Lepic, or someone like Isimo, this can actually be a great weapon option. Since the weapon actually does really well with fire-based descendants and still do good with literally every other descendant. It is in my opinion the direct upgrade to the Tamer and a goal that you should aim to get if you're looking to move beyond the Tamer. Now I'm gonna leave you guys with a little bit of footage of me facing off against a boss that is fairly good against. It's not gonna be like a super glade clear 30 seconds or anything like that. And don't forget guys, if you did enjoy the video, consider leaving me a like as well as subscribing to the channel because it helps me out quite a bit. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the video guys.
Impressive, huh?